Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, after covering major aspects of namaz, now this video and on or maybe next video, it will be about Ramzan, which is the third rukn of Islam. In Islam, there are five arkans. The first of all, it is Kalma Tayyib, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Then comes namaz. Kalma Tayyib, it is like the middle pillar of the construction or of the tent or the structure on which Islam stands. So one of the major pillars after Kalama Tayyib, it was namaz, in which I cover in about 5 or 6 videos. Now I'm coming to Ramzan or fasting in the holy month of Ramzan. In Quran, Allah Almighty say to the believers that Allah has made it farz on the believers to keep fasting during the month of Ramzan, as Allah has ordained or ordered the previous ummah to keep fasting. So ulama says that in previous ummah there were various timings and during various months or days they used to fast. So for this ummah, this final ummah, the month of Ramzan, which starts on the side of the moon of Ramzan and it ends when the moon of Eid al-Fitr it is being sighted. So its time, as per ulama, they say that its time starts after the Asr prayers of the last day before Ramzan, and it then continues till that time when the Eid al-Fitr moon it is being sighted. Then Ramzan is finished. So the purpose of Ramzan, if you see with a deep eye on it, in Ramzan, as per these of beautiful Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those shayateen and those devils, who are cunning and who made people commit murders and commit other sins like drink alcohol or be involved in various other un-Islamic activities. So those devils, they're being, they're kept in chains. They're tied in chains and they're put into the oceans by the angels of Allah Almighty. So devils are gone. Now it is the thing and the reason that is now left behind. It is the nafs, that nafs which make the person, the human being, to commit sins. So now that nafs, now that is going to be controlled. So for the nafs, it is fasting, through which it can be controlled. The ulama of tasawwuf, or I mean those ulama whose concentration is on the herd of oneself and on the herd of those who wants to benefit from them. So the nafs, it is being controlled through fasting. For example, when a Muslim fasts and he fasts in the way as has been instructed by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For example, he offer his first prayers and he keep his tongue, safe from uttering lies or saying bad about Muslim brothers and sisters, and he refrain from causing acts of displeasure or harming other Muslim brothers and sisters, either through act of hand or through tongue. So one has to be cautious while being in the state of fasting during the Ramzan and even after fasting. So when fasting is made in that sense, and when fasting is made for the purpose of Allah Almighty, because Allah Almighty, the fasting in Ramzan, it is, or on any other day, it is for Allah Almighty. And Allah Almighty say that my servant, whether male or female, he has kept a fast for me. So now it is I. It means it is Allah Almighty who is going to reward the servant who is fasted. So, Allah Almighty, He is great, He is big. So, the reward that the believer is going to get for Ramzan, it will be so great, and it will be so amazing that it will be. At this point of time, it is unimaginable for anyone to even think of that. What will be that? So fasting, it has a message. The deep side, it says that the nafs, it is also controlled. So the shaitan, it is being changed. They are put in the ocean so that they do not corrupt the human society of the Muslims. So the nafs, that is controlled through fasting. So now it is a period so that the Muslims can excel and can go on the uphill task of performing good deeds, of pleasing Allah Almighty, and to be useful to the society. So during Ramzan, a Muslim, he thinks of his Muslim brothers who are hungry. He thinks even of humanity who is hungry, who have nothing, who have no food to eat. So it gives a sense of responsibility to the Muslims to be thinking about other poor Muslims also. And it is a practice to refrain from things that that are halal in during normal days or during times after Ramadan, but to refrain from those things. So refraining from things that displeases Allah Almighty, it is practiced in the form of fasting. So during fasting, a Muslim do not drink water. However, what is not something haram to be and one can drink it. So and during fasting, one has not to take into the mouth the food which is earned through halal income, and the food itself is halal. But for that specific time, the Muslim has not to eat nor to drink. So it is a practice that in case of the normal life, the things that are ordained by Allah Almighty not to do or not to act or not to speak or not to even think of or not even hear. So like the backbiting of Muslim brothers and sisters, they have not to be heard, because backbiting, it is something that even if it is heard, that also caused loss, that is also a sin. So dear Muslim brothers and sisters, Ramzan or fasting, that is, it is having a strong message for Muslims, and it is a practice on, and it is like a type of rehearsal. You people might have seen that the police or law enforcing agencies and the armies of the nations, they do military exercises even though there is no war going on, or there is no imminent threat that the country will be attacked. Or in case of, for example, it is USA, it is always attacking other countries. Or if it is the Bani Israel state, the Dacoit state of today, they are just bombing all the countries around. So the other normal countries who do not need to attack each other, they even perform military exercises. So what for is that rehearsal and exercise? It is for the fact and for the purpose to keep the army ready in case of any aggression and in case of defense or offense. So the same applies, logic applies here to Ramzan, that in Ramzan, a Muslim practice the command of Allah in such a way so as to be prepared that in Ghairi Ramzan, or when it is not Ramzan, the Muslim, he take cares of the commands of Allah Almighty, obeys Allah Almighty.